What's up everyone? In today's video I'm going to show you the best Shadow Priest spec for rated battlegrounds, and I'm also going to show you guys an arena spec. If you don't know me, welcome to the channel. I'm currently sitting as the #1 priest in the rated battleground bracket at the time of this video. However, I might get passed, probably will get passed by the time I upload it, but nonetheless I have pushed RBGs with a lot of success so far. Because I've played so many RBGs, I haven't exactly played Arena yet, as you can see. However, I think my knowledge in RBGs, the amount of games I've played, I'll be able to give you the best RBG spec and then also a really educated opinion on arenas as well. Okay, let's get into the video. So we're going to start with the RBG spec because that's my bread and butter. I'm going to walk through all the talents, explain to you guys how I get kills, why I play certain talents, and I'll give a demonstration on how to kill something with this build, and then at the end of the video we'll also just go over the arena spec. Okay, so one thing I'll say, in Shadowlands, Shadow Priest was a purge bot. I feel like we didn't have a lot of these buttons like mind games, PI, short MD, feathers, Mindbender, like a lot of this stuff was a legendary, so you would usually only get like one of the, or Covenant, whatever, life swap, you would only get like one of these depending on if you chose it, right? Now we have a lot of buttons, so in Shadowlands I found myself purging a ton. I was just a purge bot until I had Mind Games, basically. Mind Games Death. The Mind Games Death is the same, but Dispel Magic, it's obviously very good to have, but I will say we barely purge anymore because we have so many other abilities now that I find myself in Shadowlands, purge is basically all I brought to the table. Now that is much different. You don't purge that often, but you still want the talent. Okay, Shadow Fiend, Shadow Word Death, have to take the Shadow Word Deaths. The Fade, removing all snare effects, you want that for RBGs. You want Mind Control, you want the Shadow Word Death, deals less damage to you. Void Tendrils, you obviously want this, it roots the whole enemy team. I take the increased flash heal, just this one. The one below has an asterisk beside it, okay, so just this one. Feather and the shield, body and soul. Feather and body and soul are arguably the most important talents. You absolutely want this. You can fly around the map. I go from base to base. I almost play the role of a demon hunter. I'm so fast now. So yeah, definitely take both speed increases for RBGs. Absolutely huge. You want your short life grip. You want short MD. Both obviously, I feel like I don't need to explain these too much. Just really good for RBGs. Short life grip. You can pull your tank quicker, and improved MD, amazing. Okay, you take the PI, it's amazing. You just, line up your PIs with your Disc Priests if you have another one, send it on a Warlock or something like that, or your best DPS, and then you also get PI, so very good. Okay, Twist of Fate, very good, we want that. Sand Lane I take, Throws of Pain I take, Reduce Fade, so a lot of times if I'm getting trained, I'll press Fade with a root. So if I'm getting trained, it's Void Tendril, Fade, and you can feather or shield after too, and you can usually get away from melee. It also gives you a 10% reduced wall. So with this talent, you'll be able to get away from people, and you'll also get a little bit of wall, which is nice. Very good defensive there. Okay, Mind Games and Void Shift. So the one talent I might switch here, which is up for your discretion, is to take out this flash heal. That stacks your flash heal, so it gives you a big one when you do cast one. And I might try Halo or Divine Star. These are pretty good. Like 12k damage. Imagine hitting 12k heal on everybody in like a minecart and a 12k DPS on everybody in a minecart. Or 12k damage. Really good ability. Really good. Same with Divine Star. So I think I actually lean towards going out of this flash heal talent and going into Halo. Divine Star is also, I find Divine Star is a little bit easier to use because it's instant. You don't have to cast it. So I think I'll go with this, the Divine Star change instead of the flash heal. Okay, so you can take the flash heal. Currently, I haven't actually played any games with Divine Star, so I will say if you take out Divine Star and you put it into the flash heal, that is definitely a valid spec because I've been playing that. Okay, over to the shadow side. Devouring Plague, we want Disperse, we want Short Disperse that heals us, we want Shadow Reapparation, Silence, Stun, Misery, Coalescing Shadows, Mind Spike with Surge of Darkness. So if you ever get kicked, you can play this. Dark Ascension, Puppet Master is good. Harness Shadows. Also switch to this. That's a mess up on my end. Auspicious Spirits is better than the other one. That's a big thing. That took me a while to test. So yeah, change to that. The Auspicious Spirits is better. It grants more damage and it gives you Insanity. I was doing, I think it was roughly 4% damage with Auspicious Spirits, and when I went Tormented Spirits, it was only doing like 2%. Okay, Mindbender and Inescapable Torment is very, very valuable. Obviously, you want the Shadow Word Death thing. Encroaching Shadows, Insidious Ire. Okay, you guys see the spec. All right, so let me explain. Basically, our kill damage, there's a let me go back a couple seconds. There's a pad spec. So I'm typically actually getting out DPS'd by other Shadow Priests because they're playing Psychic Link and Pain of Death. Now, I will give you guys this tidbit of information. You can pad and top damage, which is very valuable in RBGs if you play Pain of Death and Psychic Link. So a little bit of an asterisk on my spec because what my spec brings to the table is single target damage. So we're going to be able to kill, like 100% kill people versus the pad spec that will top meters, but you might not be able to get kills as easily. So I lean towards a single target because I think, especially with high health pools right now and extremely good healing, kills are harder to come by. And so I think the kill damage is more valuable, and I've been playing that. Okay, so how do we get kills? Basically, also, I just want to touch on this. Idol of N'Zoth. I see a lot of other people will use this in the arena spec, this Idol of Y'Sharj. But because I feel like it's too hard to set up in RBGs for the for this. So I just take the Idol of N'Zoth because I feel like I already have enough buttons. If I try to incorporate more buttons or more setup, especially in RBGs, it becomes like I'm actually becoming useless because I'm trying to do too much. So I take Idol of N'Zoth because it's just passive damage with the Echoing Void. Okay, so how do we get a kill? The first thing we want to do is we want to pop Dark Ascension. Okay, and basically if you read this talent, what it's going to do is when you cast Mind Blast and Shadow Word Death on something with full dots and a Mind Bender on it, it's going to do extra damage. So basically your Mind Bender's on a target. And then keep in mind, this talent, we have 40% increased Mind Blast damage if we have all of our dots on it. So 40% increased damage, plus you have all your Shadow Word Death boosts, right? And then, so you want that 40%, you want all your dots on them. Pop Dark Arc for an extra 25%. So now we're at 65% increased damage. And then you get the proc from the Shadow Word Death and Mind Blast for this talent right here that I'm showing you. So let's take a look. Hopefully I don't mess this up. It is a little bit hard to pull off, but you'll get the general idea. So, Dark Ascension. All dots out. I'm going to press Psi-Fiend, Power Infusion, Mind Games Death. Okay? Oh my god, I messed up. I should have had the Mind Bender out. It's okay, Mind Bender's out. So now I have all dots and I'm just spamming Mind Blast and Death. Okay, typically this should look around 40 to 50k DPS. I really, really butchered this for the video. It's all good. It's all good. That's how you kill something. So yeah, so Dark Ascension with all dots. Probably PI first, Dark Ascension, Damnation, Mindbender, and then you send your Mind Games Death. Mindbender first, dots and Mindbender, and then you just Mind Games, Death, Blast, Mind Blast, Death, Mind Blast, Death, Mind Blast, and just try and keep your DP up. That is how you get a kill in RBGs with this spec. Let's go ahead and take a look at the arena spec. I hope this RBG spec helped you guys. It's been doing wonders for me. I've been able to get a lot of kills and call targets in my team fights. Okay, the arena spec, the only change we have here, guys, is instead of the Divine Star, we are now taking this heal one that we considered taking in the first round. We're also dropping Feather because Feather, I feel like in Arena, the shield is enough. You don't have to get across a map as much. So I'm dropping Feather, and I'm going into this heal. Other than that, the only other change will be the Idol of N'Zoth that I talked about, going over to this. So basically, if you read the last paragraph on this talent, is you and your Mindbender deal 15% increased damage and do not break fear effects. So you can see in an RBG why breaking a fear, because it says you and your Mindbender cannot break fear effects. So in an arena, you can land a fear and send your go without breaking the fear, and you'll do 15% increased damage, and you'll probably kill somebody. In an RBG, it's very hard to run through a whole team to get a full fear, and then also your whole team is hitting the enemy, so your fear is most likely going to break in an RBG. Whereas in an arena, it's a smaller, more controlled environment, so you'll be able to get the fears in arenas. So this fear thing, remember, we're getting 40% increased damage from Mind Blast. We're getting 25% increased damage from Dark Ascension. And then if you add another 15% damage from this fear thing, very good in arena. So let's try one more time. I'm going to Psyfiend, PI, Dark Ascension, all dots out, Mindbender's out, I fear. I should have feared first and then Mindbender, whatever, I messed up again. And then it's just Mind Blast and Deaths with all of the dots on them. Okay, so 50k DPS there, guys. 50k DPS, and that's usually good enough to global a healer. If you have a stun silence and you're doing that type of damage on somebody, it's really good. So, and then yeah, you have Psyfiend, so they're 50% reduced healing, and then stun silence, and then if you get your combo right, it's a very, like, you know, in an arena, I think that's a definite kill, especially if you have teammates going on them too. In an RBG, if you do that damage, if you have like one other person on you, hitting the target, they can die. So yeah, that's the arena spec. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it was a little long, but that's my line of thought. One last thing that I'll quickly touch on, I'll link the things in the comments below. If you are going to the description, sorry, I'll put both specs in the description below. If you are going to the description and you're going to copy my spec, I'd really appreciate it if on your way down to the description, you just dropped a sub and a like. You know, if you're going to copy paste my spec, hey man, I feel like that's a fair trade, so thank you. But yeah, okay, last thing I need to touch on, honor talents. I've just been playing these three. I think they're the best. But I will say maybe Eternal Rest, Catharsis could be good. So in an arena, I feel like Catharsis could be really good in an arena. In RBGs, not so much. Shadow or Death could be good because obviously that's like our main damage, one of them. So yeah, Shadow or Death thing could be good. But yeah, these are the three I've been running. The Driven to Madness seems okay. Dot Steal, probably good against mages in arena. Pre-recognition seems pretty cool. But yeah, no, these are the three I run. So yeah, okay, thanks everybody. I'll see you on the next video. Bye. Enjoy your season 1. I've been really enjoying it. And yep, see you on the battlefield.